CTF Services profit rises 15 PC to $1.10 B. CTF Services 0659 reported a 15% year-on-year increase in net profit to HK 1.1 billion for the 6 months ended December and maintained an interim dividend of HK 0.30 per share. The increase was driven by the growth of the insurance segment, a reduction in the operating loss of Gleneagles. Source: The Standard. Published on February 26, 2025. Sinoland underlying net plunges 24 PC. Staff reporter Sinoland's 0083 underlying profit fell nearly 24% to HK 2.24 billion for the second half of last year amid a sluggish property market, but it maintained its interim dividend at 15 HK cents. Net profit for the period, which included revaluation loss on investment properties. Source: The Standard. Published on February 26, 2025. China to recapitalize 3 major lenders. Bloomberg China plans to start recapitalizing 3 of its biggest banks in coming months, according to people familiar with the matter, following through on a broad stimulus package unveiled last year to shore up the struggling economy. Authorities are looking to inject at least 400 billion yuan. Source: The Standard. Published on February 26, 2025. Retail investors pump record $1.84 tin into IPO. Staff reporter and agencies China's fresh fruit drink giant Mixu Group's retail tranche of its Hong Kong initial public offering was oversubscribed by nearly 5,319 times. It ultimately raked in nearly HK 1.84 trillion in margin loans from retail investors in borrowings through brokerages since it. Source: The Standard. Published on February 26, 2025. Home broadband boosts Smartone. Smartone Telecommunications 0315 posted a 4.4% year-on-year rise in net profit to HK 257 million in the 6 months ending in December, thanks to its growing 5 grams home broadband service. The local telecom services provider maintained its interim dividend at 14.5 HK cents, the company recorded. Source: The Standard. Published on February 26, 2025. AI fever propels stocks to 3-year high. Agencies and staff reporter Hong Kong stocks briefly jumped over 900 points yesterday, hitting a 3-year high as the tech rally resumed amid artificial intelligence fever. The benchmark Hang Seng Index closed at 23,787 points, 753 points, or 3.27% higher, with a main board turnover of. Source: The Standard. Published on February 26, 2025. Trump floats $5 in gold. U.S. President Donald Trump has floated the idea of replacing a visa program for foreign investors with a so-called gold card that could be bought for $5 million HK 39 million as a route to American citizenship. Trump said he will replace the EB-5 immigrant investor visa program, which allows. Source: The Standard. Published on February 26, 2025. 16 UTC. Soil-dwelling bacteria kills 14 in Australia. A soil-dwelling bacteria has killed 14 people in Australia's flood-hit state of Queensland, officials said, as health experts investigate what caused the outbreak. Melioidosis, a rare antibiotic-resistant disease caused by bacteria found in soil or mud, often surfaces in tropical areas after heavy. Source: The Standard. Published on February 26, 2025. Cruise control. Tony Cruz was excited to send son Pak-Fu back to Happy Valley, and the 6-year-old course specialist did not disappoint in the opening Class 1 contest. Last night, despite starting third in the betting in the 5-runner field, son Pak-Fu found just enough under Matthew Chadwick to overhaul odds-on. Source: The Standard. Published on February 26, 2025. Dubai calls for How Deep Is Your Love? Trainer John Size has confirmed How Deep Is Your Love will fly to Dubai to compete in the Group 1 Al-Quoz Sprint 1,200 meters. On April 5, after the sprinter pulled up well from his third-place finish in Sunday's G1 Queen's Silver Jubilee Cup over 1,400 meters. How Deep Is Your Love continued his consistent run. Source: The Standard. Published on February 26, 2025. Hong Kong's Paul Chan cuts spending in budget, plots AI path to future growth. Finance chief eyes new revenue sources while freezing pay for public servants, cutting civil service positions, reducing education spending. Source: South China Morning Post. Published on February 26, 2025. Why does Hong Kong need 18 months to revise HK2 public transport scheme? Sources says cost-cutting revisions to scheme will not take effect until September 2026, with authorities blaming Octopus for the delay. Source: South China Morning Post. Published on February 26, 2025. Hong Kong could rake in billions from basketball betting, but experts have doubts. Government has invited the Hong Kong Jockey Club to submit a proposal on expanding its sports gambling options to include basketball. Source: South China Morning Post. Published on February 26, 2025. U.S. imposes sanctions on more Hong Kong firms for aiding Iran drone makers. Treasury Department alleges 6 companies obtained components for Iranian drones and missiles in violation of U.S. bans. Source: South China Morning Post. Published on February 26, 2025. Mild Hong Kong budget fails to deliver amid structural deficit fears, analysts. Finance Chief Paul Chan has presented very generous budget at time when city needs bold solutions to deficit woes, experts say. Source: South China Morning Post. Published on February 27, 2025. EU Trade Chief Maros Sefcovic to visit China following Washington trip. February 27, 2025. Brussels. Maros Sefcovic, the European Union's Trade and Economic Commissioner, is set to visit China at the end of March, marking his first trip to Beijing in this role. This visit follows Sefcovic's initial trip to Washington last week, where he engaged with senior trade and commerce officials from the Trump. The post-EU trade chief Maros Sefcovic to visit China following Washington trip appeared first on Dim Sum Daily. Source: Dim Sum Daily. Published on February 27, 2025. Hang Seng Index opens lower as automotive stocks rally. February 27, 2025. Hong Kong. The Hang Seng Index opened down by 4 points, or 0.01%, settling at 23,007. In contrast, the National Enterprises Index rose by 3 points, or 0.03%, to reach 8,795 points, while the Technology Index gained 10 points, or 0.16%, reaching 5,963 points. In the technology sector, stocks exhibited. The post-Hang Seng Index opens lower as automotive stocks rally appeared first on Dim Sum Daily. Source: Dim Sum Daily. Published on February 27, 2025. 3 injured in collision on Tai Po's Tolo Highway. February 27, 2025. Hong Kong. A traffic accident in Tai Po has left 3 individuals injured, as revealed by a 17-second dashcam video circulating online. The incident occurred around 1 p.m. on 26 February, when a vehicle traveling along the fast lane of Tolo Highway towards Mui Shu Hang Playground was rear-ended by a following. The post 3 injured in collision on Tai Po's Tolo Highway appeared first on Dim Sum Daily. Source: Dim Sum Daily. Published on February 27, 2025. Paul Chan calls for middle-class understanding as benefits are reduced in latest budget. February 27, 2025. Hong Kong Financial Secretary Paul Chan unveiled the 2025 budget on Wednesday, emphasizing that the government's decision to freeze salaries is a response to current economic conditions and the need for fiscal consolidation. In addressing concerns that short to medium-term policies appear to target the middle class, Chan stressed the government's. The post Paul Chan calls for middle-class understanding as benefits are reduced in latest budget appeared first on Dim Sum Daily. Source: Dim Sum Daily. Published on February 27, 2025. Hang Seng Index surpasses 24,000 mark as Xiaomi hits record high. February 27, 2025, Hong Kong. On the day of the future settlement, the Hang Seng Index opened lower at 23,783 points but quickly regained momentum, rising by 285 points, or 1.19%, to reach 24,073 points, marking a three-year high. The National Enterprises Index climbed by 111 points, or 1.26%, to 8,903 points, while the post-Hang Seng Index surpasses 24,000 mark, as Xiaomi hits record high. Appeared first on Dim Sum Daily. Source: Dim Sum Daily. Published on February 27, 2025. U.S. Department of Agriculture projects egg prices to soar by 40%. February 27, 2025. Washington. The U.S. Department of Agriculture, USDA, has forecast that egg prices could surge by over 40% in 2025. As the Trump administration revealed new details on its strategy to combat bird flu and alleviate rising costs on Wednesday, Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rollins announced that the USDA will invest an additional. The Post-Us. Department of Agriculture projects egg prices to soar by 40%, appeared first on Dim Sum Daily. Source: Dim Sum Daily. Published on February 27, 2025.